Good morning, Wicked Ed Expert Corner Group. It's Sunday School Knife Talk. Let me give a little explanation. This is the second week. I decided I wanted to talk about knives last week, and I worked on this all week. And let me try to give you a little quickie thing. When I'm sharpening, there's mechanical stuff with Wicked Edge, and then there's understanding the knife and knowing what I bought and looking at the knife and recognizing how the edge was ground, and then applying my Wicked Edge sharpening practice to that knife. And as I learned more in my Wicked Edge sharpening and my collecting of knives, specifically Japanese knives, I saw these differences in edges and uneven grinds, and then it became a challenge to me how to sharpen these on a Wicked Edge fixed angle sharpening system, interpreting what the knife was and trying to figure out how I want to approach sharpening it, because it's not so cut and dry. So I decided I would make this series, and I started last week, and I thought it went pretty well, and I worked on some videos this week and threw out a lot of videos, and I want you to know that they are all me just standing here and talking. I try to have a train of thought and follow it through. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I go off on tangents, but I just feel that there are expert users like myself out there that have these same questions about sharpening knives, and they get into it like I do, the theory and the practice and better steels and how to approach them and the better grit for the different steels. And that's the whole reason that I wanted to start this group and this discussion, because when you're sitting at the sharpening machine, when you're sitting at your Wicked Edge and you're sharpening your knives, it's not the time to have the conversation about it. And there's a lot of stuff that I do that takes a lot of thought and theory and whatever. So that's why I made this group, to have some conversation, some understanding before we sit down and sharpen. I wanted to say real quick why I don't collect American knives. I cannot find American knives that I can afford in a variety that I have collected here. I tried to, and American knives are in flux. They're contemporary, they're modern, they're using new techniques, new metallurgy, and they don't have the old tradition and consistency of the Japanese knives or the European knives. And the price point on the American stuff, when you're trying to get equal quality to the Japanese or the German knives, it gets really, really expensive. So I'm apologizing some to you that buy knives and collect knives, that when you start looking to get a 8-inch chef knife, decent 8-inch chef knife, in an American knife, it's 2 or 3 times the price of a counterpart in a imported knife. So if you choose to take part, enjoy, listen, learn something, contribute, argue, whatever you want to do, putting these videos up. There's no actual order, but there is a flow to the conversation, and if you can make it through, I've made a bunch of separate videos and I'm putting them all up today, and I invite you all to struggle through them and see what you can learn from this. And at the end, we're going to have a little follow-up conversation and try to understand some of the things that we learned, I hope. Thank you.